what's up guys, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video we are going to be looking at my top 10 favorite figures from this past year. Now these are just my personal favorites, they're not really based on quality specifically, though of course if you know me at all you know that's going to weigh in at least a little bit. But these are mostly going to be based on the character itself and if the figure is fun or just there's something about it that I really enjoy. So this list is obviously not going to align with any of your lists out there, but if you guys would like to list your favorite figures of the year in the comment section below, that would be a lot of fun and we can talk about that down there. But for now we're going to go ahead and get started with my list with an honorable mention. Now, this one might be a shocker to some of you, but I'm going to put NECA's Goliath from Gargoyles all the way back here in the honorable mention section, and I want it to be number one because I love Gargoyles, I love Goliath as a character, I love this figure. However, for whatever reason they chose to or had to put in the package only these giant wings, which are very cumbersome. They are not great for posing and they don't really peg in all that well, and it makes the figure unpleasant for me in a lot of ways. I love the rest of the figure, but these wings just, they're too much of a problem for me, so I had to put them this far on the list. Maybe when we have some different wings I'll feel differently about the figure. The draped cape style wings are going to be awesome, but that's not good for posing either. We need something in the middle, some middle ground, so hopefully we do get that at some point, and then I'll be able to say how much I really enjoy the figure more. But as of right now, the wings are kind of killing it for me, even though they look really cool. Coming in at number 10, we have the Marvel Legends Modular Iron Man, and I love this figure. It's a ton of fun, and it's probably one of the best Marvel Legend Iron Man figures that they've ever made. It's great, it looks good, it has good proportions, it has good paint, poses well. There's really nothing wrong with it. It's just for me personally, I would like it to be the yellow and red, like the classic like glossy yellow and red sports car look rather than the metallic look. And I know some of you love this look. For me, I love the yellow and red, and I would like to have like the yellow line work around the head and that kind of thing too, but it's still a really fun figure. Coming in at number 9, we have the SH Figuarts Son Goku Super Saiyan 4, and this figure definitely had its fair share of problems. It was made in Vietnam and had loose ankles, a loose tail, and a few other issues here and there, but I love it. It's tons of fun to pose, and it poses really well, other than having the butt cheeks in the way with the new-ish style hips. Otherwise, I'm very pleased with it. I'd like to throw a wash on the fur or something like that, but it looks really good. It's a great likeness to the character. They nailed the face sculpt, they nailed the fur sculpt, the pants are good. There's nothing really I want from it other than to have a little bit of QC touched up on it, that kind of thing. You know, the plastic colors and things like that could be better, but it's still pretty darn good. Coming in at number 8, we have the Storm Collectibles Aries from Injustice, a game that I barely played, and I'm just not really a fan of that style of fighter, but this look for Aries is phenomenal, and aside from the Santa sack style cape they gave him, this figure is a stunning looking release. It looks fantastic. The sculpted armor is great. The paint on it is great. The cape looks pretty good from the front, so that's fine, but just everything about this guy looks really, really good. If you want to check my review, you'll see the cape is very strange the way they designed it, and his head inside the helmet is a little iffy, but you don't really see that too much, and the cape doesn't matter too much either once he's just standing on a shelf. So I just really like the armored look, and he does pose well enough and has a giant sword, so what more could you want from an Aries figure? In at number 7, we have the Marvel Legends Cyborg Spider-Man, and this one is on the list simply because I had the figure back as a kid, like the old school one with the big robot arm, and this figure definitely has its fair share of flaws, but it still hits me right in the feels with the nostalgia, and they did do a lot of stuff really nicely on this guy. Just to do like a quick review, his eye's a little bit weird, and he's missing a few details here and there, but it does harken right back to that original figure that I had as a kid, and it's definitely a good enough release that I definitely recommended it when I reviewed it, and I still do. It's a ton of fun, and if you have any reason to want a Cyborg Spider-Man, go ahead and pick it up. You're going to have a good time with it. For number 6, we have the SH Figuarts Bardock, and I'm just a big fan of Bardock's character design. Yes, I know this figure had QC issues. Again, that's kind of a trend this year for SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures. Half of them have them, half of them don't. This guy's colors could be better according to some people. I happen to like this color scheme for him. It is accurate to some of the source material, and it poses really well. It's sculpted really well. It has really nice shelf present. It comes with an energy effect. There's not a whole lot I want from this guy other than a lack of issues with the quality control. Like, that's always going to be a problem, but I can still enjoy a figure with quality control issues as long as the figure is there. I've always said I'd rather have a good figure with quality control issues than a cheap figure that doesn't have any quality control issues, because there's nothing to work with there. At least with quality control issues, you have something that looks good and is trying to be good, whereas just something that's cheap and lazy but made well, there's no point in owning it in the first place. So that's kind of where I am with these guys. Like, yeah, they have QC problems, but they still look good and pose well, and they're fun to have. So that's where I'm at with this. Coming in at number 5, we have the Super Shredder Shadow Master. And this is just another Super Shredder figure, which was fantastic the first time they made it last year, but this one is just the bee's knees as far as Super Shredder looks, with the black leather cape. I mean, I know it's not leather, but it looks like it. The fancy packaging, the darker color scheme for his body, it's just all around. It's exactly what Super Shredder would look like if he wasn't made like he was in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 movie with the weird purple and stuff like that. This guy looks fantastic. The slightly metallic dark colors and the silver. Oh, it just looks great on a shelf. It's fun to pose. There's nothing wrong with it. I love this figure. Coming in at number 4, we have the Dark Knight Returns Fat Batman 2-pack with Robin. And I know I didn't give it the best review when I reviewed it, but that doesn't mean I don't personally really enjoy it. I love the color scheme for Batman, and I happen to be a huge fan of the way Mafex has sculpted the Fat Batman. A lot of these companies actually make him look fat, which he's not supposed to be. I call him Fat Batman just to distinguish him from every other version of Batman where he doesn't look all blocky, but he's not supposed to look fat, and very often it does seem that way, but this makes him look really muscular, just really thick, and it actually poses really well, so you can't beat that combination. A really thick figure with lots of muscles, but good posability and a good aesthetic. I'm very pleased with it. Need to iron out that cape, but otherwise this one's a super fun release. Coming in at number 3, we have the 1000 Toys Master Chief from Halo Infinite. Now, yes, I know this figure does not have the paint job that matches the final version of the game. This matches the early version of the game where he was super clean, but it still looks pretty damn good. Honestly, there are only 2 things about this figure that I don't like and 1 thing that I would change, even though it's okay. The shoulder pads look weird because they stick out too far and the shoulders are too small, but it still looks really good once it's posed. And then his ankles could have a little bit more range. They're not bad, but they could be a lot better. And then the last thing that I would change just a little bit is the chrome visor, but I can definitely take this somewhat reflective metallic orange visor. It's a fantastic looking figure and probably the best non-large scale Master Chief figure to date. Coming in at number 2 is a figure that didn't make any other lists this year, but I love it so much. It's the Flame Toys Optimus Primal. It's too damn expensive to be one of the top 10 best figures of the year, but it is so much fun despite its flaws, and despite its high price point, I am smitten. I love this one. It looks great once it's posed. Definitely have some problems posing it with the lack of bicep swivel at this price point. It's unacceptable, but it's so much fun. It looks great. It's so dynamic and stylized, and just it exudes everything you want to come out of a figure. It makes you feel like it's alive. That's probably a bit much. That's over the top. It's got a lot of style. I don't know how to describe it. There's something about these figures that have like passion and heart put into them when they're being designed. And you can just feel that when you're handling the figure, when you're looking at it, the sculpt, the posability. Again, it's got it all except for the bicep swivel. So I love it. And then finally coming in at number 1, easily my favorite figure of the year, it's the SH Figuarts Final Form Cooler. It looks great. The shading throughout really just sets this thing off. That purple shading on the lighter purple body, fantastic. The sculpt is great. The only real downside to this thing is the chunky tail, and I don't really care about that at all personally. It poses so well and it looks so accurate to the source material. It's a big figure. It comes in at a reasonable enough price point. Yeah, I know it was an exclusive, so it's more expensive secondhand and all that kind of stuff, but there's not really much they could have done to make this figure any better other than even more paint and, you know, just tightening up a few things here and there. It's an excellent, excellent release from SH Figuarts and up there with the likes of Super Boo as one of the best. So there it is, guys. There's my top 10 favorite figures of the year. Again, let me know in the comment section below which ones are your favorites so we can talk about that. But that will do it for this year. We will start the next year with a bunch more regular reviews, and we'll see what comes out. So thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.